welcome back to Man Across New Horizons. I'm dear darling, and shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today? I don't know, I said that without breathing in beforehand, which is, a bit of a rarity. I mean, I think you're pretty much used to my welcome sound, but I don't know. I just ran out of breath almost in the part way through that, which if anything is probably a sign of my bad cardio or aerobic respiration. If I was actually talking about this with my friends and being I should probably go to a gym at some point to actually get better cardio, cardiovascular circulation, because I've never been particularly good at long distance running or that sort of thing. I've always been very much of a sprinter, but still. Hello everyone, right now in Fawnhallow at 6:10 PM on Monday, January 30th 2023. We have a visitor staying at a campsite and we'll probably ignore them. But yeah, at some point I certainly should, and it's not I've been adverse to exercise in my entire life. It's not necessarily true. I did do exercise, but I will say it wasn't always the most thrilling thing. And certainly, because if you don't know, I sometimes have shoulder problems where my shoulder dislocates very, very easily. Or I shouldn't say very, very easily, but much easier than the average person's. Due to my hypermobility, sometimes I'm one of the sports I used to play a lot, like tennis and badminton, I don't anymore because I don't want to dislocate my shoulder again. It's not exactly the most pleasant experience, I would say. I've been forgetting about these Nook missions, logins, but whatever. But it reminds me when we used to do gym class, I suppose, back in school. It was back in school, and by gym class I don't mean gym in the American term. I don't mean physical education PE equivalent. I mean literally weights training and that sort of thing. Because at some point during our school we ended up getting a small gym. It's very, very small room. It had enough you could it had a bench, and it had a few exercise machines, and I think it had a rack, and then there was an upstairs room where it had things like stationary bikes, a rowing machine, and other sort of cardio equipment, I suppose. It was interesting because obviously at that point I'd never gone to a gym before, and even now I've only been to a gym only a handful of times, I think. But it was interesting, and it's a shame that it was introduced so late, because it was only introduced basically last year, I think. Or maybe second last year as well. So basically during my time in sixth form, which I guess is maybe that's when they start thinking, that's probably when kids, teens I suppose, are starting to get interested in bulking and hitting the gym. And on the whole I'd say that's reasonably accurate. I'm going to be honest. I don't know many kids who hit the gym, I suppose, pre 16 sort of age, I suppose. I'm sure there were some, but those people, as of anything, those people who are following their own passions, I suppose, can will chase their patterns, their passions, no matter what in the end. But yeah, I remember thinking at the time I didn't really like him, mainly because I had no muscle mass. Even now, I don't really say I have much muscle mass. It's probably a bit more fat, if anything. But yeah, I remember thinking at the time I'd not really like it, but looking back in retrospect, is one of the things that'd be that would have been a nicer thing to have a bit earlier on in the school thing, just to learn properly how to use them. Because there was also another thing, we never got properly taught how to use the equipment. Maybe it was on the first day or something. It was this is a lap pull down machine or something. But you didn't really pay attention, to be honest. So then there was basically two camps of people, the people who go to the gym regularly, I knew what they were doing, who were just doing a thing using it as an actual time to actually use the gym equipment, and then the rest of us who were just there just being I don't know, I've seen what I have a general idea what I'm meant to be doing with this machine, but I don't really know. And you put it on an easier resistance difficulty or whatever, because you're not really there to build muscle or anything. You're just kind of there to get through gym class PE. It's interesting because when I speak in real life I don't use the Americanisms, I suppose, but then of course when I start recording these videos, and immediately my mind is flipping it to American terms, so for whatever reason, I can't say I know why, but hey ho. What was I going to say about this? Yeah, I'm trying to remember what machines we had as well. I will say, I did try, I just didn't know anything, and then still don't really know much about, gym workouts and that sort of thing. Something I should probably research before I actually go to the gym, but, then therein, it's not even a New Year's resolution or anything like that, because, as I say, I don't really do New Year's resolutions. But, if it comes to the option of making a healthy choice versus making an unhealthy choice, I should try and make more healthy choices, certainly. And exercise is a big one that I'm lacking on, especially cardio. Because I actually, I remember actually quite liking the cardio, time, the cardio sections, because what we did is we did like half a time during PE class. We were so for 30 minutes in the weight room, 30 minutes upstairs in the cardio room. I actually really like doing the cardio stuff, to be honest. You might be like, what's your favorite gym equipment for cardio? And I'm gonna be honest, I'm a big fan of this. I was gonna say a standing bike. It's not a standing bike. It's like a unicycle or something. The sitting down electronic bike. I don't really know what it's called. You know, the Peloton, etc., etc. It wasn't a Peloton what we had. I have no idea what we had. To be perfectly honest, I don't know. I just like it the best, to be honest. Like because it's something like running is not amazing because it's sort of like it's not very good on your joints because of like I guess the constant like forces of like landing on your feet probably, you know, isn't great for your knees over a huge long run. Not to say that running is unhealthy for you. You shouldn't use that as an excuse. Obviously running is probably better than not running, but you know, if you're running poorly then that's not great. It's often I heard that like one of the best exercises is swimming or something because it's not only does it use your entire body, but it's also like one of the easiest on the joints or something, I guess, because of the buoyancy of the water. I'm not really sure. Not an expert in physical education of any kind. Well, I suppose of the exercise kind. But I forgot what I was going to say about this. Yeah, I don't know. The sitting bike I thought was always great. And it's not even just because you're sitting down, but I felt like it felt like a good balance between a workout and also, you know, not like something you can get a good workout. It's like it's best efficiency ratio for like the amount of work I felt like I was putting in and the amount of effort I suppose amount of effort I was putting in compared to the amount of work I got out of it. I think that's just my opinion. I don't know. Because of course there's other options. There's a step machine, which the step machine I've got to say that workout is utterly exhausting. If you don't know what a step machine is at least the one we had, it was basically there's like two like foot pad sort of things which can go up and down, and basically you step on them and they naturally, without any weight on them, on the up position, and then as you step on them they slowly sink down to the bottom, and then the resistance you can change is basically how quickly or slowly they fall. So if they fall really quickly then it's like you had to run faster, I suppose, to keep up with steps. That is exhausting. Is by far and away the worst one, I think. For the worst feeling one. Like, certainly you put a lot of effort in and you probably got a lot out of it, but it's sort of like a demotivating almost, because it's so tiring. And treadmill's fine. You know, honestly, I kind of like prefer the travelator things where you're walking on the cycle thing, but I feel like I don't really get a good workout when I'm on them. Like, we had a treadmill, still have, I suppose, a treadmill. Well, I have a treadmill, I should say, which I basically never used. It was not really one I used, to be perfectly honest. I remember actually when we got it, I was like, I'd rather have a cycle bike, a bicycle machine instead of the treadmill. But anyway, the treadmill's there. I used to use it a little bit when I was younger, but you know, since then I haven't, and it's just sort of been like chilling there. And if anything, when I get older, and I'm like, if I get like enough money for that sort of thing, I think a luxury thing to buy I would absolutely get like an electric bike thing. Now you might be like, would you buy a Peloton? Would you buy one of those things? I don't know. I would have to see what it's like, because I've never been to like a spin class or anything like that. I don't really know what those things are like. I don't know if it's for me. I don't know if that's a thing which really sort of gels with me. I would have a hunch that yes it would, because it's, you know, something which is regimented on a schedule. I don't have to think about it, and it's like directly from like experts or whatever. It's just like sit down, do the exercise, bada bing, bada boom, at the same time every day. But you know, you look at that and you're like, that sounds like your sort of thing, dear darling, doesn't it? Yeah, probably. But also Pelotons are pretty expensive, and I'm not really in the market for one right now. But it's the same with future, you know. Who's to say? The rowing machine is also kind of cool. I actually did a lot of rowing back at university. If you didn't know that, like, well, I shouldn't say a lot of rowing. I did it for like 2 terms or so. I was terrible at it, probably due to the fact that it was a combination of I didn't have much muscle and I was not great cardiovascularly. And even then, I'm not even sure if I was that great technique-wise. I thought technique was my strongest point, but yeah, again, I also sat in like seat 3 or seat 5, which is also known as like the engine room seats, which is basically, if you don't know about rowing, I should talk about it sometime. But for the most technical, I think most technical seats are the back 2 seats, like 7 and 8 or something, because they're the ones which have the most influence on like the direction of the turning of a boat or something. And then the other 2 really technical seats, but in a different sense, not from rowing technique, is more like is a first seat, like, is it bow? No, stern? I can't remember. Whatever rowing seat's called, I think it's bow and stern. I don't remember which one's which. Rowing seats. Anyway, it's the front 2 ones because of the front. No, stroke. That's it, right? The front one has to keep time basically, because everyone else just follows the person in front of them, but the person at the front only has the coxswain, I suppose, at the front. So they had to keep in time based on what the cox is like yelling out, etc., etc. There's also like port and starboard. I don't remember which one's which. You might be like, which side did you row on? I rowed on both. I think port's to the left. That sounds about right. Well, port's not to the left, but port's to the left from the rowing position, so technically it's on the right, on the boat travel position, now I think about it. Is that right? Hold on. I don't know. Port starboard. Port is on the left, starboard is on the right. Is that right? Stern forward? What? Port is described on the left side if you're facing the bow. I'm getting confused. Wait, bow? Port ahead, astern. What? Which way's going forward? Okay, port's on the left, and bow is the front. Okay, yes, that does make sense. Whose is this as well? It's hard not to, but I probably shouldn't have. Okay, this is probably one of Lily's or Fawn's, it sounds like. Yeah, because I thought my technique was the strongest part, but you know, I also was just like, I don't know, I was in sorry, a little bit of pause. But yeah, I thought my technique was always my strongest part, so I would have been in one of those seats. But instead, you know, that they have the engine room, quote, which is seats 3, 4, 5, 6, which are basically, you know, is where you're meant to put the people who are like super muscly, who just like row, who generate basically the power in the rowing, but don't necessarily have the best technique, because they have in the middle they have like the least sway over like the rock of a boat or something. But that's all I remember. Anyway, I remember when I was on the team, I rowed. Actually, I rowed in quite a lot of different seats. I think I might have rowed in every single seat in like. Which is weird, considering the fact I only did it for a little bit. Like in the first time, I don't know if I'm talking about rowing now or something, but in the first time, like I'm trying to think. We were obviously like a novice boat or whatever. I'm trying to remember. I think I rowed in seat 5, and I sometimes rowed in seat 7, depending on like substitutions, if I recall. And then at some point, like I switched to a different side? No, that was it. It was in the second term. It was in the second term. What happened in the second term? They were doing like tryouts or whatever, and I was like, I don't really care what team I'm in. I'm going to be perfectly honest. And I was put on like team 4 or something, which basically didn't have enough players, so it was just basically enough rowers. So it's basically just like, I don't know. Basically, they were never going to row, and I was like, all right, fine by me. I don't really care. And then it was like someone in the 2 teams above dropped out. So then someone's from the 3rd team moved up to the 2nd team, and then I got moved up to the 3rd team, and I was now on the other side in seat 4 or something, and, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll just, you know, row this way round as well. And then I think I've substituted many times as well for other things. Like at one point I rowed in one of the races, I rowed stroke, which, you know, I rowed with the 1st seat, which was interesting, because I was like, I'd literally never done this before, and I was like, all right, you got to row it for the race, and I was like, okay. Anyway, we won that race at least, so, you know, that's one good thing, certainly. I remember that one as well, because that one, like, normally when you're rowing, you're very much in the zone, because the only thing you're thinking of is, ow, this hurts, I can't breathe, my muscles, you got to be like, keep going, keep going. But there's basically like a really loud piercing whistle to be like, stop rowing, you know, the race is over, etc., etc. I remember the race wasn't over, but someone from the sidelines blew a whistle, so I thought it was over, and I was like, that didn't sound right. Because I was like, I didn't think we reached the exit, but I was like, huh? And then I remember the person behind me was just like, keep going. And I was like, okay. And I just continued rowing. But I remember we were very confused about that. I don't know if anything happened with my investigation. And we still won anyway, so it's not like it really mattered in the end, but it was very weird. And by the way, that all took place in about half a second. Like, I missed like one stroke, and I was like, what? It just happened. Anyway, that was a fun time. Anyway, so long and short of that is rowing on a machine I would say it's actually a pretty good workout. Oh yeah, I actually forgot we were looking for Lily and Fawn. It's actually kind of up there, I think, but it's just like it's annoying when you had to like think so much about your technique about something. I kind of just want to, you know, sit down and exercise, right? So it's good if you're a rower, certainly. And if you know how to row, then I'd certainly suggest having a rowing machine. Apparently, you can make like your own homemade rowing machines, right? Something like that. You don't need to like have these fancy ergs, as they're called. What else do we have up there? I know, and weight training was so stupid because like they didn't teach us properly like how to lift the weights. Or like technique. So it's basically like, okay, I know I got to do reps and sets, but I don't know how much, I don't know what's reasonable, and I don't know what I can do, and I don't know how to do this properly. and because you always need someone spotting you to do the bench press, no one ended up really doing it in the first place. I did it a couple of times and I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but you know, like lift a bar up and down, that's good enough, and you know, do that 10 times. Okay, good, great job everyone, thanks for, you know, spotting me. And they were like, oh yeah. At least that's my experience. Obviously if you experience with doing gym stuff, you probably have a very different sort of memory of that sort of thing. But anyway, I don't know. I just remember just being like, you know, take my turns, doing my rounds on the machines. There's like a lat. Hold on, there's a chest press. I remember that one because that was always the one I found the hardest. There's a lat pull down. I don't remember any others. I think there was like a leg lift, but I genuinely don't remember anymore. I'm not even sure what other ones there could be, to be perfectly honest. And then just doing bicep curls, because I was just like, I don't know what else to do, to be perfectly honest. So, you know, it's also just like, you faff away your time. That's not even how you use the word faff. You faff around, I suppose, doing the weightlifting section, and then you get to the cardio section, and you're like, oh yeah, you know, even if I'm not an expert in gym, I know how to like ride a bike. I know how to run on a treadmill. I know how, but I also had this thing, which I don't really know what it's for. I think it's meant to be a muscle relaxer, where you stand on it, it just like vibrates really intensely for like a minute or so. And then it makes you go like, I'm not really sure what it's for, but I think it's like a muscle toner or something, from what I recall. Anyway, that was pretty fun, and also like I probably didn't use it properly to actually exercise as I should have, but you know that do just be how life is sometimes. Yeah, we haven't found Lily or Fawnhallow yet, have we? Let's go search them out. Do we have enough? We do have enough space for flowers. Flowers for Algernon. Sorry, little pause. I forgot what I was saying. Gym workout. Anyway, yeah, I should go to the gym at some point. It's basically the long and short of it. It's not really much more to say about it. It's just like a thing I should do. My friends already go, so it's not like I'd have an excuse to be like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. You know, obviously my friends would be there, and even if I didn't know what I was doing, I still like learn to do it. It's just like getting my motivation to do it. But you know me. Basically, as soon as I get in the head of a schedule or something, and it's like, okay, every Saturday morning I'm gonna go to the gym. Nothing will stop me. Through rain, through snow, through illness, through sickness, through health, I'm going to be there at that gym working out. Maybe. I say that, but you know, you shouldn't like rule these guarantees on anything. Especially with things on these hypotheticals. Oh, hello, Lily. Rowan, sorry. I mean, also Lily as well, but you know, I expected to see you, Lily, in your house. So is this yours or Fawnhallow? It is yours, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Go to the gym, work out. It would just be really convenient if I had like a home gym. Like I remember some of my family members, I think it was my cousin or my uncle, I should say. It's not like my cousin bought it. My uncle had like a home gym or something in the basement. I don't know if that's a luxury I would want. I feel like it is, just like, it's not even because like exercising is a huge like hobby of mine or anything necessarily, or being like, or fitness I should say, but just like the pure convenience of it would be fantastic, because that is something which you want to lower as many barriers. You're Pecan, right? Oh no, Blair. I always get you confused with Pecan for some reason. No, not Pecan. Wait, I get you confused for that skunk one, whose name I can't remember, who I always think is called Pecan, despite the fact I know who Pecan is. It's weird. Anyway, it's not like fitness is one of my hobbies, but it's something where you certainly want to have a barrier as low as possible, so you can actually get, you know, some sort of healthy exercise in, you know, whenever it may be. At least that's what I tell myself. Yeah, again, it might be one of those scenarios where be like, oh yeah, I'd certainly, absolutely pick up this hobby if I started, like, if I purchased the equipment for it, but then never do. Anyway, I'm going to round this episode off here, so if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been dear darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Twitter, Discord down below. Hope we can see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now. If anything, my Animal Crossing villagers exercise more than I do, which is a bit of a sad thought.